All right, we are live.
Okay.
So let's see. I don't know if like we just each want to say our names for the live video so that when the instructor watches, she can see who of us is here and everything like that. So
Yeah.
sure. Okay. So I'm Devaney Kaiser.
I'm
Jessica Taylor.
Oh, Jessica.
Oh,
sorry. I'm Jen Garcia.
I'm Callie Solomon.
Perfect. All right. So we'll just jump right in. Let's see. And now I got to pull up the paper so I can remember.
Yeah.
All right. So does anyone have questions on like the first part that was the 5 steps to the process and the brief description of each one?
No.
That one was pretty clear.
Yeah.
Yeah. Same here. That is pretty clear on that one.
Perfect. Okay. All right. And then question 2 with the matching with the different terms and their definitions.
Mm-hmm.
I'm good. I think this is where I'm going to have to go back and study just so I can remember and not have to always refer to my papers. But I get them now. I just think later on I'm going to have to keep refreshing so I can remember which sampling is which.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with that. I know I've had to like reread the definitions a few times and be like, try to make like small connections.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, okay, that's that one.
Same here, because I'm a visual learner, so I had to really kind of visualize how that would play out on a lot of these scenarios and definitions.
Yeah, for sure. I'm in the same boat.
Mm-hmm.
I do have one question when we get to number 3.
Okay.
What the response variable is.
Just like, so the example from I don't remember if it was something that I Googled later on just to clarify, but it gave the example, or just like briefly explain it. It's the thing that's going to be measured. So the example was like a friend, they want to see who gets more candy, a funny costume at Halloween or a scary costume at Halloween. So 2 friends dress up, one's a vampire, one's a clown, and then at the end of the night, they go and see how much candy they each got. So the candy would be the response variable because that's the thing that they're going to be studying to see what's changed in each scenario. That's my understanding, what I got.
Okay.
So like later on, when it talks about the like the sleep study, it would be the number of hours of sleep that they got. That would be the response variable.
Yeah, I remember that study in here too. As far as I understood, I thought it was the measure of on the response variable in the sleep study. I thought it was the measure of the success of the cream. Am I understanding that correctly? How successful
for the skin stuff? Yes.
Yes.
It is
Am I on a different step? Oh, I'm sorry. Were you on a different one?
Let's see. I may have been.
Oh, that wasn't the sleep study. I'm sorry. Yeah.
No, you're good. But you're right though.
Okay.
The study about the cream and the skin irritation, the response variable would be it would not necessarily the cream, but the degree of the skin irritation. Like, is the skin irritation improved? Is it the same? That would be
gotcha. Okay.
Again, my understanding. Don't quote me. If you guys have any other ideas, feel free to share.
That sounds okay. Yeah, I was just reading what I put, and I was like, the variable that changes to whatever the treatment is. That was about the extent of my definition.
Yeah. That's essentially it.
That makes sense.
Any other questions on number 3?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So number 4 was the null and alternative hypothesis. These two always mess me up. I can never keep them straight. Ever since I've ever learned about them, I've never been able to remember which one for the life of me. I don't know why, but I have such a hard time.
The way that I always remembered it with null, I just think of like nothing, because that's the status quo, like nothing's changed. So that's how I associate that. And the alternative is what's changed after the experiment, or that type of thing, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and the way I remember the symbol for those two is the null one was the HO, so the little 0 or H0. The 0 to me represents null, like 0. And then the A symbol, the A kind of coincides with the word alternative, AA. Does that make sense? Yeah. Okay, so
I'm glad they did it that way.
I don't know. Again, it's a visual thing.
Okay, sorry. I was just writing that down. Let's see. Any other questions or anything on number 4? No. So number 5, the p-value. This one.
I do have a quick question on that one. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just going to say that one is one that got me. I had to like reread it and reread it like so many times because it made sense to me.
Me too. I guess my question on that is, okay, so if I'm understanding it correctly, it looks like the symbol was P minus. Is that correct? Like a P and then a little minus sign. And I have down, that's the probability of obtaining a result. Is that?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. In the text.
Okay.
Yep.
I guess I guess the symbol is P minus, because I guess I get it confused with when the value is low, the null hypothesis is rejected. And then in the text, it said if the probability is large, the null hypothesis is not rejected. But either way, the symbol is P minus.
Well, is it P minus or is it just doing hyphenated with value?
That could be true. I don't know.
I don't know. I'm also not great at English. I don't know.
Let me see if I can pull up.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Because on that next to number 5, it says P hyphenated value. So maybe it's that whole term.
That's my understanding.
Yeah. I was just thinking it was P hyphenated or whatever, but value is probably all of it.
So it's only, so if, this is only if the null hypothesis is true. If it's not, then the p-value is rejected, right?
I have down if the probability is large, the null hypothesis is not rejected. Correct me if I'm wrong. Does that sound right?
You're correct. Yeah.
Yeah. And if the p hyphenated value is low, the null hypothesis is rejected.
Sorry, guys. I keep writing notes and getting distracted.
You're good. No worries.
Let's see. And then next part is determining the correct sampling method for each scenario. How did you guys feel on that when you were doing it? I back like the definitions and being like, okay, this one, I think I just have to study more and like get more familiar with which each sampling is for sure.
Yeah. There were a few that were easier for me to remember than others. Like for B, the systemic sampling, That one was easy for me to remember because I just think of it as a system. That's when they do like how it was saying like every 1,000th name. I just think of that as like a system and a routine. So that's how I remember that being systemic sampling. But the others I had to go back and double check previous stuff to make sure I had them right.
And the C one came easy to me because it said using a computer to randomly generate, and then like number two,
right.
it said like that same definition, and so I was like, oh, I know that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of had to do the same thing, like read through them a couple times. I think the thing that helped me the most, but I think we all probably learned differently, I don't know, was just looking for keywords like, is it Callie? Is that, like you said when you were reading it, if I understood correctly, the randomly selected one. So that was kind of a key word for knowing that was systematic. Anything systematic is when they do randomly selecting. But they also do randomly selecting for D, which is cluster sampling. So sorry, I'm confusing you guys. Sorry, I'm thinking out loud and anyway, that didn't help.
No, you're good. Is D cluster or is D stratified sampling for number 6?
I have stratified.
Yeah, it's stratified.
It's stratified. I'm sorry, I was looking back at number 2 where it had the definition. So I thought, okay,
Gotcha.
now I'm really confusing it. But no, yes, you're correct.
No worries.
Was there any one of those that you, with the samplings, that you guys wanted to like kind of go over more, or wanted to view the definition more, or anything like that?
I think with me, it's just rereading and getting more familiar with it. I know a study strategy that's been working with me. I don't know if it will help you guys, but to read the definition and like sometimes it'll have an example or something, and then I try and think of another example with it that would be the same thing. So that's
a good idea.
So like it's just applying it that in a different way. Essentially.
Yeah.
I like that.
That's a good idea.
I know. I'm always trying to find like one word that sticks out in the definition and then somehow tie it to it. So like with random sampling, generate. When I think of generate, I think of simple. Like I just try to do like small little things that those words stick out to me, and I'm like, okay, that one is this one.
Yes. And it kind of breaks it. It chops it up and to make it a little easy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like the application idea too. I do have a note here that stratified sampling, and maybe this was on the lecture YouTube, video that we had for our homework. I have a note here, something about percent into groups and they have something in common.
Right.
Is that stratified? Did I get that?
Yeah, that's right. So whether it's like age or gender or other categories. So that was the key thing that stood out for this to me, because they were grouped into their age.
Okay.
Okay. And then cluster is when, let's see, subjects are put into groups that hopefully represent the population, and then randomly select one or more groups and sample everybody in that group. Okay.
That one I felt was a little confusing at first, because I felt it was really similar to the convenience sampling. So like, I think it was Jeff that was mentioning earlier, like visually thinking about it. It's like with cluster, so like for option E, so saying like, if you think of like all the cardiac patients in the world, but you're only doing a cluster of these selected hospitals. So that's how I think of that one. Instead of asking everybody stuff. They're taking this main group of heart patients, or cardiac patients, and then just doing a small cluster.
Got it. Okay. Okay. Any other things you want to go over on 6? Okay. So 7. Determine the type of sampling method using the different scenarios again. Anything you guys wanted to cover in that section?
Okay, so the other keyword, and again, correct me if I'm wrong, I have a little note here next to systematic sampling. Systematic, I can't pronounce it. Okay, but you guys know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
Means I have down intervals. Is that correct? That they probably sample intervals?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
All right, so we went over cluster and simple random stratified. I think experimental, is that the last one?
Yes.
Yes.
I have to like reread them to like remember what it is.
But are you saying like 7D?
Yes.
I think D is systemic.
Is it?
Yeah, that's the one that was on.
Yeah.
I have a note on intervals.
Oh yeah, sorry, I was looking at 8.
Oh.
Yeah. 8 last one is experimental. 7, the last one is D, systematic.
Okay, so this one. Okay. Oh, okay, yeah. Sorry, I was also looking at 8B. I was like, what did I do? And then I just looked and I was like, oh, well, that would help.
No worry.
So you guys good to go to 8? Since obviously I'm already there. Okay. So I don't know. Anything you guys felt like you wanted to touch on there?
So the way I understood, so number 8 was about experimental or observational study, or experimental design. And so the way I understood observational is it made me think of observing, and basically that does nothing to influence health, and that's how they defined it. So when we observe, it does nothing really. We're just observing. That's the way I literally had to remember it. So, and then experimental made me think of science and experimenting. Mm-hmm. And they define that as whether it worked or not. Mm-hmm. Excuse me, experimental was experimental response variable. I have a note here is, okay, no, never mind on that. But experimental was basically
that there's a result to something.
Yes, a result. So like if we do obviously like a science experiment, let's say at school or something, there's a result one way or the other. Mm-hmm. Is that correct? Is that how you guys kind of understood it?
Yeah.
That's how I understood it.
Anything to add?
For me, I saw in a couple of places that for like experimental, the researcher is like controlling the conditions. Like they're actively setting out the conditions of the experiment. Whether like one group receives a treatment and the other group does not, or that type of thing. Whereas observational, they have no control over anything. They're just collecting data.
Yes.
Through their observation.
Yeah, that's the way I understood it. And those little questions they had for us, like A, B, helped, kind of put it, putting a picture to it of whether it was. So for A, did you guys get observational?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
good with you and good to go to 9?
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Was this an easy one for you guys, or did it take you guys a little? Personally, for me, I was like, okay, think about it. This is this. This is this. This has to be this.
Mm-hmm.
And I kept asking that for like ever as I like kept like going through piece by piece of this whole thing, trying to figure out what each little piece was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I initially got the response variable wrong. So when I checked my answers out, that was one thing that I had to correct, just to make sure like I really understood what that meant. But yeah, I had to take my time.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah.
Let's see. So it was a designed experiment.
Mm-hmm.
And then the subjects were the 224 patients with the skin irritations. And then the response variable, now I'm scared. The skin irritation, right? Like the, how was okay.
Yeah.
And the treatments were the cream, the 0.5% and 1%, and then the placebo.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I literally, that one question took me like the longest time because I would like read the whole thing and then I'd have to like go back and like read a section and then answer one question, then read the rest of it. The next question. But,
yeah. Okay.
all right, cool. Well, you guys want to take the quiz?
Let's do it.
All right. Yep.
Is it just one of us doing it, or is it all of us doing
we all take it.
it? Okay, cool.
So how does that work on here? Sorry, I'm kind of like not a media guru, so I can't like, does it post up here so we can all see the same thing?
So you just have a separate window open for your iLearn. So I have our video chat in one half of my screen and then a window open for the quiz through iLearn on the other half.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure we can share screens, but it's easier to just.
Yeah, I think we're fine to just have our.
We each have to submit one in order.
Can you guys still see me? Because I'm trying to open the.
Yeah, we can see you.
Oh, okay. Because I can't really see the screen, but I'm going into my iLearn thing. So do we all go on the quiz at the same time? Is that my understanding?
Yep.
Yeah.
And it looks like we get 2 attempts, so we can go through it the first time, see how we do, and if we want to do it again, we can do it again. And
oh, yay! This is set up for people like us, right? Okay, so we're on week 2, lesson 2, group meeting quiz.
okay, good. It's not timed. I was like, guys, if it's timed, I'm in trouble.
No. Oh yeah.
So it's not timed?
No.
I'm just entering it just now. Okay.
Okay, so
First 2 questions are easy.
true for everyone.
Okay, so we're on question 3, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Well, do you guys want us to like read the question out loud and discuss it, or how do you?
I think that's good. At least for this first round.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Okay. So, researchers would like to determine if reviewing material consistently within an hour after class helps students perform better on exams than if students wait to review material the day before the exam. To answer this question, the researchers are trying to determine if an observational study or experiment would be more appropriate. They are discussing who the population would be and how they will determine which sampling method will best represent the population. Which of the 5 steps of the this word, guys, yeah, I'm just going to skip it because I can't ever say it. My husband makes it all the time. But anyways, process are the researchers currently applying. So
I think this is design the study. because they haven't moved on yet to collecting the data. Like they're determining their questions and deciding who the sample group and that kind of thing will be. So that's my understanding, but you can plead your case if you think it's something else.
No, I think you're good.
I think you're right. I just had to reread it a second time too. I
know I did. I read it out loud, but I had to go back and reread it.
Yeah, word problems aren't my forte.
Yeah.
No.
So which of the 5 steps? Yeah, design the study.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I'll put that down. So now we're on to 4.
Someone else want to read it?
I'll read it. A researcher has collected the results of a survey where the participants were asked how many hours of TV they watch each day. The researcher tallies the frequencies for each category and computes mean number of hours watched. She then creates a histogram to help illustrate the overall distribution. Which of the 5 steps of the statistical process did the researcher apply?
This seems like it's pulling in some of chapter 3.
What are you doing?
Group.
Okay.
I initially thought it was collect the data, but since they're creating the histogram to illustrate it, then that was describe the data, I think. I don't know.
Because they already figured out how often they've watched it.
Yeah.
Putting it together.
That's true.
So then it would be describing.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
I'm good for that.
Yeah, because that's, creating. So it's describe the data because that's, creating a graph.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want me to read question 5?
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay. Mumbai, India is a quickly growing city of importance in its own country as well as the global economy. A marketing research firm has been asked by a prominent fast food restaurant to help determine if the citizens of Mumbai would support this fast food business. From a list of all the registered taxpayers, 3,000 names are randomly selected. Each individual on the list is mailed a brief questionnaire. The researchers received 1,049 responses. The population is... Population is...
I would think the population would be the citizens because the sample, or maybe I have this wrong. So I was thinking the sample is just the small number of people that participate or are given the chance to participate in the study, but I need to double check. I don't think I'm right on that.
I feel like, okay, and let this statement go in one ear and out the other, okay? Because I have no idea whether it's correct. But I feel like this tripped me up last time on one of the homework things. And it ended up being, like, in this case, the 1,049. And so I don't know. I don't know if it's...
Because I really think that the sample, like a sample is a part of the population. So I feel like the population would be the 3,000, either all of the registered taxpayers or the 3,000 names that were selected. And then the sample would, I don't know, but that doesn't really fit with the answers that they're giving us.
Yeah. Are we allowed to look? Do you know? Is that?
I don't know.
I don't know. I don't,
because we're doing group work and
I know. I didn't see a thing where it said not to, but
yeah,
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I didn't either. I don't know. It's either the first or the second one, like you guys said.
Yeah.
Was there a term that we learned called just population?
I think it was in the reading.
But I think it was like all over the place because it talks about like a sample is the entire collection of a specific population. So I feel like it talked about it a lot, but in each of the different steps. So it didn't just say like the population is, I don't know.
Right. Well, this is one where we can put an answer, and if we get it wrong, then we can.
Well, and that's the other thing which is really nice about this is I can put one answer and one of you guys can put the other answer, and then in the end we'll see who's right.
That's true.
That's a good thought.
What are you guys leaning towards at this point? The 1,049? I'm leaning towards the citizens. Yeah, me too.
Okay.
Jinx. Okay. I don't know.
Because I feel like, wouldn't the sample of the population be the 1,049 who responded because they're the ones?
That's my understanding.
Responded
in the experiment.
Yeah, that's my understanding. That's the sample that they're going to be basing their research off of.
Yeah.
So the citizens would be the whole population, and the people who responded would just be the small sample of this population.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, that's how I understand it.
That makes sense.
Should we all just go for it and say the citizens?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's together. What I'm putting.
Okay, I can read number 6. Mumbai, India is a quickly growing city of importance in its own country as well as the global economy. A marketing research firm has been asked by a prominent fast food restaurant to help determine if the citizens of Mumbai would support this fast food business. From a list of all registered taxpayers, 3,000 names are randomly selected. Each individual on the list is mailed a brief questionnaire. The researchers received 1,049 responses. The sample is...
Wow. That's kind of answered our other question in a sense. Like the other, these two are linked, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, so this one would be the 1,049 if we're understanding it right.
Yes.
Okay.
All right, that was easy. Hopefully.
Woo!
Yeah.
We're getting there, ladies. We're getting there.
Okay. I'll read number 7. Studies have shown that retention of classroom materials can drop as low as 58% within 15 minutes of class and within 44% after the first hour after class. This forgetting curve continues so that within 6 days, only 25% is remembered. How can a student conquer this forgetting curve? The researchers in this study claim that constant review is important. Suppose your teacher wanted to test this and invited you to participate in the study where you were asked to review specific material 15 minutes after class for 10 minutes, an hour after class for 10 minutes, and then again 2 days after class for 10 minutes. Your teacher then gives you a short 10-question quiz where your scoring out of 10 is recorded. What type of data is your teacher collecting?
Cool. Quantitative?
I think it's quantitative.
Yeah, I think so.
Because he's collecting the percentage of what you remember.
Yeah.
If it's categorical, then it would, I don't know.
When it's like the category, I don't know. I always think of category, and I don't feel like category fits.
I think that's quantitative.
Yeah, no, I'm like 99% sure it's quantitative.
I'm just rereading it again here to clarify in my head. Yeah, because I know quantitative is pure numbers.
Yeah.
I guess I'm trying to read the end here. Your teacher then gives you a short 10-question quiz where the score out of 10 is recorded. What type of data? Data.
Yeah, it's definitely quantitative.
Okay, yeah, that's not a category. Cool.
Yeah.
But it works out because number 8 is the same question. But
oh, heck yeah.
Oh.
I mean, this one will be the opposite.
Yeah.
But we'll make sure because that way we know.
Okay, I'll go ahead and read that one. So studies have shown that retention of classroom materials can drop as low as 58% within 15 minutes of class and within 44% after the first hour after class. This forgetting curve continues so that within 6 days, only 25% is remembered. How can a student conquer this forgetting curve? The researchers in this study claim that constant review is important. Suppose your teacher wanted to test this and invited you to participate in a study where you were asked to review specific material 15 minutes after class for 10 minutes, an hour after class for 10 minutes, and then again 2 days after class for 10 minutes. After the 6th day, your teacher asks you if you feel confident that you have retained at least 50% of the material. He then records your responses yes, no, not sure, what type of data. So yeah, that would be categorical.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice, guys.
Okay, I'll read question 9. Studies have shown that retention of classroom materials can drop as low as 58% within 15 minutes of class and within 44% after the first hour of class. This forgetting curve continues so that within 6 days, only 25% is remembered. How can a student conquer this forgetting curve? The researchers in the study claim that constant review is important. Suppose your teacher wanted to test this and invited you to participate in a study where you were asked to review specific material 15 minutes after class for 10 minutes, an hour after class for 10 minutes, and then again 2 days after class for 10 minutes. Your teacher also selects a group to give no review to the material over the 6 days. This group is called the...
That would be the control group.
Control group.
Yeah.
Yeah,
did you say control?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Because nothing's happening to them. They just keep going as they were.
Yeah.
I'm just rereading that last bit again here. Okay. Teacher selects a group to give no review. Yeah. I agree.
Cool. Okay, I can read question 10. Which of the following would be considered an experimental design? A telephone poll asking about whether or not they vaccinate their children, administering the tuberculosis vaccination to one group and giving a placebo to another, a census, or a mailed survey asking people whether or not they received the tuberculosis vaccine.
I think it's... Oh, go ahead. Was someone talking?
Oh, I was just saying, isn't it the second one?
I think
yeah,
so.
that's
Yeah.
Administering the tuberculosis vaccination.
Yep.
Okay. 11. Okay. In a study to determine the average wage of working people in, how do you say that?
Mumbai.
Okay. Thank you, Mumbai. Which of the following would be the best sample? Every 10th worker that you meet as you travel the streets of Mumbai, all the workers in one working district, many randomly selected workers in each of the several working districts, or all the female workers?
I think I would say either the first or the third.
I was thinking the same.
Yeah.
But I'm kind of leaning towards the third because it's in several different working districts.
Yeah.
So you're getting like different.
Yeah.
And you're randomly selecting them, so they could all work at different districts.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so are we picking the third one then? Yeah?
I'm good for that.
Okay.
Okay, so question 12. You want to become the next Jonas Salk and produce a vaccine that will help cure children of respiratory RSV. You test the vaccine and compare it to a placebo and randomly choose one group of children to take the vaccine and one group to take the placebo. What or who are the experimental units or subjects? So that would be the children.
The children.
Right? Yeah.
Sounds good.
Okay, I'll read the next one. You want to become the next, it's pretty much the same question. The next Jonas Salk and produce a vaccine that will help cure children of RSV. The test and vaccine and you test the vaccine and compare it to a placebo and randomly choose one group of children to take the vaccine and one group to take the placebo. What are the treatments?
The vaccine and the placebo, right?
Yep.
Oh, man.
Because those are the two things that will determine the outcome of the experiment.
Yeah.
I agree.
Okay. All right, I can read the next one. Be prepared, it's like a page long. Okay. In 1992, the U.S. government supported a study that was run for 15 years where 4,608 low-income families were given a chance to move to less impoverished areas. They distributed vouchers and provided various support systems. The researchers wanted to determine if getting people out of poor neighborhoods would reduce the poverty level of U.S. citizens. The low-income families were randomly assigned to one of the following three groups. 1, the MTO Low Poverty Voucher Group, which receives Section 8 certificates or vouchers usable only in low poverty areas with less than 10% of the population below the poverty line in 1990, along with counseling and assistance in finding a private unit to lease. 2, the traditional voucher group, which received regular Section 8 certificates or vouchers, geographically unrestricted, and ordinary briefings and assistance from the local public housing authorities. And then the third one, the control group, which received no certificates or vouchers but remained eligible for public or project-based housing and other social programs to which families would otherwise have been entitled. This study was an
experiment.
Yeah.
They're actively controlling what one group does versus the other.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So it is experimental because I do have the note on an observational study that it does nothing to influence the health. Low poverty.
Right. So like it should be experiment because they're actively setting people up to have more access to certain services and support systems.
Oh, gotcha. That affect their health. Okay.
Right.
Yep. Experiment. Okay.
Cool. Hey, last one, guys.
All right.
Woohoo.
It's just matching. So
okay.
Let's see. Step 1 is to design the study, right?
Yeah.
So that's
3.
This will be confusing.
Do you want to just go down and do like step 4, step 5 that way?
Yeah.
Okay.
So the first one, discern, would be describe the data.
Okay, wait.
Which
Are
one?
we going from
Wait,
top
mine
down?
has step 5 as the first one.
Yeah.
Oh,
listed
Oh,
up
it's all
here.
different?
Ours are all different.
Are we going down that way? Or do you guys have a different order?
I think they're all different orders.
Yeah. Why
okay.
don't we identify it as like truth, discern, whatever? Because once we start throwing in numbers,
I
it gets
agree.
confusing with the other ones.
I like it.
Okay.
Which one should we do first?
Well, let's start with the order that they go. So Daniel is the first of that phrase.
Mm-hmm.
So Daniel would be design the study.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then can is next.
And
that would be collect data. And then discern.
Design the study. Or
would be describe the data.
Maybe I should just not talk. I'll just make it more.
Good. And then more would be make inferences. And truth would be take action.
Did everyone get those?
Yes.
I need to go over it again. I have, okay. One, can is I have number one as one.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Two, I have as truth.
Okay. Yep.
Yep.
Three, I have as Daniel.
Yep.
And then on four, that's where I got 4 and 5.
So 4 is discern. Because that's describing.
And more is 5.
Yep.
Make, okay, yeah, that makes sense in order there.
Are we good to submit it and see how we did?
Yeah.
I think so.
Okay.
Kind of nervous.
I know.
I know.
Hey, we got 100.
Woo, guys!
Did we?
Yeah, we did.
I'm submitting.
Awesome.
Woohoo!
Nicely done.
Sweet.
Good job.
Good job, ladies. It does help to work together, you know, to sort through it and talk it out.
Mm-hmm.
Agreed.
That's awesome. Okay, cool.
Okay, so just to clarify then, so we're going to just jump on here on Thursday as well. And then there was one more thing due today, if I understand correctly. It's the group quiz and then the group recording. So is someone turning that one in?
Yep,
Yeah.
I will stop the live broadcast and then I'll put it onto YouTube and then I'll copy the link onto the group.
Mm-hmm.
What it was called, the group, whatever.
Discussion board thingy.
Yep.
So we don't need to do anything on our end for the group meeting recording, correct?
Correct.
No,
only one person submitted.
One person. Okay. Thank you so much, ladies.
Awesome. Okay, I'll see you Thursday.
Sounds
Yep.
good.
Setting up. Okay.
Okay. We'll see ya.
Bye.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.